Chairete Omathetai. Amy Cousin Leonid. Okay, so my name's Cousin Leonid, and I'm going to be taking you through what we are doing today. Okay, and what we're actually going to start with today, so I'm showing you the wrong slide to begin with. So it's something from Matthew. It says here actually Matthew 33, 5, 33, and 34. And we've got his indication about not swearing oaths. Okay, so I haven't been with us for a while. One of the reasons for that has been that my last computer died and my hard drive was wiped out and all of the Greek text that I had disappeared and so forth. But that's okay, that's neither here nor there. Okay, and let's have a look at that. And just a reminder, so what we're doing is we're just going through the text. We're just going through the text, so we're translating it from the Greek. I'm not trying to give you any exegesis or anything like that. You can get that from better places than me, if you really need to. Okay, so that is good. And we'll just keep on going. So let's just reiterate the fact that anyone is welcome to read this who wants to. Doesn't matter if you're Christian or not. It's just if you're interested, and that's the main thing. Okay, so let's have a look at what we're looking at. And here we got the verse. Okay, and I won't stop this recording to actually look up where I got the Greek text. It's all perfectly legal. I've got my Greek New Testament next to me anyway. And let's just say that it's been out of copyright for a very, very, very long time indeed. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Now, you can see, you probably can't see my mouse. I'm actually highlighting the various colors. Looks very colorful. Not only because the completely random picture of the aurora above a mountain that looks like the Matterhorn or something like that, but also because the text has certain colors over it. Let's explain that. So what I advise people who are doing unseen translation is where you've never seen the text before and you need to translate using a limited number of clues and possibly taking a dictionary into the room. So it's the kind of thing that you do at exam time, or maybe not having a dictionary, is to actually color code the nouns and the adjectives before you even start. So you can see that there's quite a few words that are not color coded at all. That just means that they are not nouns or not adjectives. Okay, so just basically to explain, got the orange is going to be dative, so that's 2 or 4. Okay, and the red is going to be the accusative, so it's going to be the direct object. Okay, and the green is going to be the genitive, so the possession. Now that's very simplistic. All of those things can be used for other things that I've not mentioned, but that's what we've basically got. So let's keep on going through it. Let's read the Greek and then explain what we're trying to accomplish in this lesson. So we've got sorry, I say lesson, this vodcast, I suppose, video podcast. Okay, so we got Palin. Okay, so Palin ekusate hoti erete tois archaiois uk epiorkeses apodoses de tokorio or toikorioi. Okay, tous orcus su. Okay, now just to do with my pronunciation, I sometimes have my Greek friends and relatives say that my pronunciation is really terrible. That's okay. They speak the language. They go to church. That's fine. But just note that the pronunciation in church Greek is completely different from classical Greek, which I know a lot better, and which I was taught how to pronounce the words. So I still pronounce the words as though they're classical Greek. So just so that no one bothers writing in. Okay, that's what we've got. Okay, so let's have a look. So let's first of all look at how we know these are dative. Okay, so using your tables, which we all have to learn if we're learning Greek or Latin or Sanskrit or Old Persian or Russian or anything like that. So on our tables, the way that we actually use the tables, so we're told things like you have to learn the tables so that you can pass exams, and that's kind of true, but it's kind of not at the same time. The reason that we're using the tables is that we're trying to understand how things fit together. So we would look up tois archaios on the tables, and we'd see, well, we can see from the definite article. Greek has a definite article which Latin doesn't have, Sanskrit doesn't have. Okay, and the definite article tells you which case the word it goes with is. Okay, so there are some cases where the definite article doesn't go with the next word, and we can actually tell that by the endings. But let's look at that. So we get the acusate. Now that's going to be aorist, and let's explain how we know it's aorist. Okay, aorist is past tense. Okay, and we've got, okay, the verb is akuo. Okay, now what happens is we know if it's got a tau and an epsilon ending, then it must be either you plural, do something, or it must be a command for you plural. Okay, it's not going to be a command for you plural because, well, it's kind of not. We'll maybe work that out another time. Okay, the aorist we can work out also if it's talking about time. It's not always talking about time, as we'll see. Then the letter at the beginning of the word changes form. So we've got akuor becomes ekusate. Okay, so that alpha lengthens to show that it's past tense. So it's like an alpha and an epsilon, and put together they become an eta. All right, and if the word that you're trying to make aorist begins with a consonant, then in the aorist it will begin with a vowel, usually an epsilon. Okay, palin, that's just going to be an adverb, so we've got again you heard. Okay, now what's this again going on? Okay, now I think what's going on, the context is that it's continuing on from a previous sentence or a previous passage. Okay, so we've had something that went down previously, and then this is kind of the equivalent of furthermore. So again, you heard that. Okay, now hoti, interestingly, is a kind of accusative. So I was umming and ahhing about making this red color, but in some senses it's a subordinating conjunction or just an adverb. So I think it was safer probably not to have that. Now it can either mean because or that. So in the context, it's got to mean that. So you heard that. Again, you heard that. Okay, erethe. Now this is going to be an aorist, and it's an aorist passive. You heard that it was said. Okay, so let's go on to the next page very briefly. So that's going to be the aorist of the verb legor. Okay, yeah, I know they don't look very similar at all, and that's okay. The aorist passive. Now, if it was the aorist active, it would be ape, but we haven't actually got that here. We have it in other passages, but we don't have it here. So, let's have a look. Now, we can actually recognize this as an aorist passive. We got, okay, yeah, then we have a theta and then an eta at the end. Okay, so that's a mark of an aorist passive. There are also future passives that have a theta within the word. That's okay. So you heard that it was said. Okay. Okay, then we've got a dative. What's a dative? That's 2 or 4. You heard that it was said to our ancestors. And then we have something that, let's explain what it is. I think this is going to be a direct quote. All right. So, uk eporkeses. Now, we haven't really done the future tense either, but we're seeing it here anyway. So let's have a look at that. So what we've got is epiorkeses. Okay, so the root verb is orkeses, and sorry, I'm dividing this with my mouse, which you can't see anyway. And then we've got a prepositional phrase at the beginning, sorry, a preposition at the beginning, which makes it a compound verb. Okay, orkeses would mean to swear an oath. And then we've got the epiorkeses, which is taken in Koine Greek as being to swear an oath falsely. Okay, and then let's keep on going. So we've got another future here. So notice that or ace ending. Okay, we have the similar endings to what we have in the present tense. Now the difference in how we recognize how they're different is because we got the little, I'm underlining with my mouse here, we got a sigma in the middle of the word epiorkeses. Okay, that makes it future tense. It's a little bit unusual because we kind of expect a subjunctive which we don't have. Subjunctive is the kind of thing that we would have in the Ten Commandments or in the laws of Moses or something of that kind. Okay, we got apodoses. Now that's from the rather unusual verb didomi. So apodidomi, that looks like another compound verb. Okay, and then we've got, again, that it's future. We've got the sigma before the ace. All right, so we got, okay, you heard that it was said to our ancestors, okay, or to the people of old, if you prefer. So we got in that word something like archaeology, okay, similar word. Okay, and then we got the uk epiokeses, you will not swear falsely. Okay, now notice that this is kind of, okay, not a complete imperative. It's not a imperative idea. So we don't have an absolute command. You have something that is said in the future, which in some way is stronger than a command. You will not do it. Okay. Now, okay, you will not swear an oath falsely, meaning that it's a bad idea to actually do for a number of reasons, which we'll find out in a moment. So we've got the apodoses. Okay, you will. Now that's often treated as keep to in classical Greek. It means something else, but that's okay. We're not doing classical Greek here. You'll keep to, okay, tous orcus su, your oaths. Okay, so let's have a look at that. So we've said the red is going to be the accusative, so it's a direct object. So you will keep to the oaths of you, meaning your oaths. Now notice that the endings here are, okay, right at the beginning you heard plural, okay, and then we have the epiorkeses, that's going to be singular, and the apodoses is singular as well. So you will keep to your oaths to the Lord, okay, and the Lord meaning God, I suppose. Okay, it's kind of capitalized, so it doesn't just mean the King of Israel or anything of that kind. So it has the idea of not swearing falsely, but okay, your oaths to God are basically that you promise that you'll behave in a certain way, so you will keep those oaths. Okay, let's keep on going. So let's have a look at the next one. Okay, ego de. Okay, let's have a look at that. Now we got ego de lego. Now we had lego on the previous page, so we know that that's I say or I tell. Okay, now what's the ego doing there? So the ego is going to be nominative. Dark blue is nominative for me. So Why have we actually got that? We don't need the pronoun because we've already got the or at the end of the verb, so we know who's doing it. Okay, I think it's going to be emphasis. So the emphasis is that the scriptures have told you, okay, it is said that. Okay, it doesn't actually make it active who does it. But now we have, presumably, Jesus is telling the story, and we've got, but I. Okay, meaning that we've got some kind of contrast. Okay, so this was what is traditionally said to the ancestors and therefore to you. But I, ego de, legor, tell humin, that we can see that that's dative, so we have to make it you, I tell you, or to you. Okay, me omosai. Okay, okay. Now, what is going on there? Let's work out what's going on there. So we've got the psi is going to be an aorist infinitive. The me, of course, is a negative, but it's not the same as an u or an uk. Now, the reason for that change there is because the force of the legor is I tell you, is in I instruct you. Okay, so we've got you heard that it was said to the people of old. Okay, and I tell you, and or but, which is the there. I tell you not to swear holos at all. Okay, and then continuing that, we got the mete. That's kind of continuing the idea. Not on heaven. Okay, and to urano. Okay, so we got a picture of the heaven behind. So which means that we're being instructed not to actually swear by the heaven, either the literal sky or what lies above it. And then we got the hoti, that is going to be because, so unlike the previous page where it was that, so let's have a work out why. So not on the heaven, because it is the throne. Okay, we've got the same word there. We can see it's blue. Okay, so it's nominative. Let's work out why it's nominative. So depending on what table we have in our textbook, so my textbook has autugos, meaning a farmer, then we know that the Omicron sigma ending is going to be second declension masculine ending, because it is the throne of God. Okay, possession. Okay, so we got the green, so therefore it's possession. All right. Okay, thank you very much for listening. Okay, just about. Okay, I do not have a Patreon, and I don't intend to get a Patreon because I don't need anything from you one way or the other. I'm not going to get advertising or anything of that kind. So if you feel like donating, then just donate to some kind of charity as your conscience tells you. Good charities at the moment, well, there are lots of them. Okay, animals always need help. People who've suffered domestic violence, people who've suffered COVID-19, which quite a lot of us have suffered from, but certainly people in America or Southern Asia have certainly suffered really badly from. Okay, and there are plenty of causes for you to look at. So thank you very much, and I will talk to you in the next video.